When I tell you that this human has quickly become one of my favorites, I cannot wait to share this episode. Amanda is a serial entrepreneur. She has 15 years of experience in branding, digital marketing, social media, and she is the founder and CEO of Grind Social Media. And first of all, I love the name of Grind Social Media, but also it is a full-service social media marketing and consulting agency. And what her and her team do is they help businesses make their mark online through strategic social media management, end-to-end email marketing, and really gives you head-turning content that converts. She also is a 2-time bestseller author about female entrepreneurship and resilience, and is really passionate about helping women find and fine-tune their voices to take up more space. I am so incredibly excited to dive in with her today. Not to mention, she also has an amazing podcast that just kicked off called Marketing Sucks. And it's a podcast that's aimed at shaking up the marketing industry and really helping you take up space online. Let's dive into our conversation here today. You are listening to That Big CEO Energy, where we talk all things business, life, marriage, and push you to a new edge of discovering what that big CEO energy means for you. Listen, I understand that we have barriers that we carry from when we were once employees, and those have impacted us as we continue to build our businesses. I'm here to walk alongside you and give you encouragement through interviews with friends and other women in business who have broken down those barriers and paved their own way. Tune in with me as we uncover some of the unconscious things that we do that keep us from building that big CEO energy we've always dreamed about. Let's dive in. Amanda, thank you so much for sharing this space with me today. Really excited to chit chat with you. I was on your podcast a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I love about you as a freaking human is you say the things. You say the thing and you do the thing. And when we met at MamaCon, I was like, oh, she's my homie. She's my people. Because that is how we roll in the Callie & Co house. So thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome.
I think one of the things that I know that doesn't get talked about a lot is we see it all over Instagram. It is, let me help you 10x your revenue by X, Y, and Z, and you're just going to do it by making 6 posts, right? I don't know if you've seen that, but it's like, I only made 6 posts on Instagram and I can do this. And now all of a sudden we're a coach. So we're going to chit chat about all of those things, your thoughts and feelings for one, and marketing things that we can do that are simple and digestible. And I know you're the lady to give us all the tea.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if people can see my eye roll as you were speaking, but no, we're not going to do that kind of marketing. That's just, it feels gross. It's like sleazy car salesman. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, marketing like that is exactly the reason why we drive to the sales dealership at 8:00 at night after they're closed.
Yeah.
Right. We all know that we've made like the lap after dinner because we know that the car dealership is closed. And the last thing you want is the salesman to come out and be like, let me sell you a car today. And you're like, I was just looking, you know?
100%.
Tell me a little bit more. I want to kind of start with your journey and how you ended up sort of where you are. Because this is I don't want to say newer business, but for you, it's a little bit newer, right?
Yeah, we're in year 5 of this business, in year 5. So year the 5th year will be in October. Do we have time for you want my life story, girl? Because we'll be here a while.
Dirty version. Dirty version.
Let's do it this way. So I actually, first note, my entire family are entrepreneurs. So, my dad, my stepmom, my grandfather, my sister, we're all in the realm of working crazy hours and doing the thing because we don't want to answer to anybody. But that is not how my journey started. Essentially, I actually went to school for criminology and psychology, forensic practice, and crisis intervention and counseling. So and you're like, how the hell are you sitting here with this mic now? And I actually, after graduating, did do a few months with the government. I did work as, I worked in probation and parole. So whenever I tell people that, they're like, yeah, I can see that with your personality. And then I realized oh gosh, this is not for me. So I did what any normal person would do. And my contract ended and I just, I did interview and I was like, I'm not feeling it. And I'm the type of person that if it's not going to light me up, I'm just not going to do it. And I know that whatever is on the other side is waiting for me and it's bigger and better. And I've always trusted my gut. So I quit and I went to Europe for a few months. And I was just like, I'm just going to backpack and just see and find myself. And then I came back. I got a temp job at some random data entry place. I really had no idea what I was going to do. And then this opportunity came to me. I had a bit of inheritance. My mom had passed. And so I had all this money and I was like, I don't know what to do with it. I want to really use it as an investment. So this opportunity came to me to purchase a business. And I was like, I have no business purchasing this business. But like my grandfather and my dad and all these people that I've seen, really start something from nothing, I'll figure it out. And I had worked in the family businesses and I understood back ends and all that stuff. And I'm a people person. I'm like, how hard could this be? Let me tell you that I did not pay myself for the first 3 years of that business. It was hard. It was so hard. And then it took off. It was in the education space, adult education and the beauty industry. And we created an amazing business and it went into the millions. And I sold it when I was 6 months pregnant with my first daughter. And then I was like, now what? What do I do? So I was like, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, right? I don't know what to do. My husband has a great job. He's traveling a lot. I'm going to travel with him. So my daughter's first flight, she was 4 weeks old. We would go back and forth. Yeah, we would go back and forth between LA and Toronto. And then my stepmom needed some help in her business with the marketing. And so I was like, yeah, I can step in. So I started working for her for a bit. And then I realized how quickly we were turning things around. And this is a time when almost 7 years ago where social media wasn't really a thing. So we got them online. We redid the email marketing and kind of restructuring how the business operated in-house as well. And we had something good. And then people were like, oh, who's doing this for you? And then I had a client and then I had another client. And now we have Grind Social Media and it's been really great. And, in my last business, that is what I did for the 9 years that I owned it, was all the marketing and all the people and the training and getting everybody on board with customer satisfaction and really going deep in that education side, which is something I love so much about my business, is that when you're working with me, it's not just about oh, we're doing the marketing for you. There's always an opportunity to teach you something so that you can learn, so you can better, your own knowledge. And also you can do the things yourself. You don't have to hire somebody to do all of it. So anyways, that's kind of in 5 minutes or less. That's kind of my story.
I love this. And I love this opportunity to teach because I think that that's super valuable when you are working with small businesses, that you get the opportunity to kind of collaborate, right? It's not just, I have this idea and I'm going to turn it over to you and let you do your thing and just kind of be passive with the marketing. What are some of the things that you get often from women entrepreneurs on the setbacks on why we're not doing more marketing in our business or doing marketing that really aligns with who we are?
It is 100% a confidence issue. So in my last business, it was very male dominated. I would go to these conferences as an owner and people would come up to me and be like, oh, so you're an instructor? Like, who's your boss and who owns your location? And I'd be like, no, sir, I am the owner. And I was like, 24, 25 years old. So I had to learn really young that if I'm not speaking about my business and I'm not standing up for it and I'm not showing my confidence in what I do well, that these other people, AKA the men in the world, which is why I usually mostly work with female entrepreneurs, are going to walk all over me and make me feel less than. And that's not any way that we should be, brought up feeling. So for me, when I talk to a lot of people, it's number one, I don't know how to talk about this. I can't do it the way you do. I'm just like not good in front of a camera. Or it's like, I don't know what people want to hear. Like they already know, so I don't need to talk about it. And so for me, a lot of my job in my business is hyping people up to let them know that there is somebody out there that needs what you're selling. And if you don't talk about it, right, you are doing a disservice to those people that need you. They need your product. They need your service. They need your expertise. And I had a funny conversation on a call. I was leading a group call for somebody else in my industry. And somebody was like, I really want to be a thought leader. And I was like, great. So how are you showing up as that thought leader? And she's like, well, I'm not. And I'm like, perfect. So in order to be a thought leader, we have to take our thoughts to be words to be put out there so that people can hear what it is that we have to say, right? And so a lot of times the inaction stems from, that place of the little girl that was told not to be loud or to be quiet or that's not important or there's a place and a time to be heard. I'm here to shake things up to say, be loud and not like actually loud, but like take up space, say the damn thing. If you have an idea, run with it because you never know where it can take you. Trust your gut, trust your instinct, and know that there is somebody there that wants what you're serving or selling.
Yeah, I think we get really, really good about talking ourselves out of things more than we talk ourselves into things. And that's when things like, I don't know how to talk about it because we've already conjured up this idea that nobody wants it. And if they do want it, they're already getting it from someone else. So who am I to ask for money? Right? And money is a huge thing. Like asking for the damn sale is the hardest thing as part of being an entrepreneur, especially when you don't have a sales background, right? Like I just said it the other day in a different group call that I was part of I still to this day struggle with, okay, I've done the initial, yes, you need me, all the fluff, please, please, please. And then what do I say after that? What do I, okay, so, right? But had I been this way 2 years ago, I wouldn't have a business flat out. Like I still am working on it, but at the same time, it's one of those things that we just have to be hyper aware that this is the way that we are. And I think sometimes we don't realize it until we get into our marketing aspect of our business where we have to show up and we have to do the thing. And the only person that's able to do that, said person who's running the business. Right?
Yeah. And honestly, a lot of the time, what I'm finding is that once we break through this, the fear of having to show up online, people find it really easy and fun. And so it's really about taking the factor of pick one person that you're talking to or do what I do, which is I'm just talking to an inanimate object, my phone, it's not scary. And a lot of people, they see me online, they're like, wow, look at how confident this girl is. Look at how I could sell water to the ocean, right? Like I'm very good when I'm behind a camera. meet me in person, I am shaking in my boots. I will always be wearing a high neck shirt if you see me out, because I literally break out into hives when I'm around people. I tell my community this all the time. I'm like, if you see me out, I will not approach you. Like, you need to come up to me and be like, hi, I'm so-and-so. And I will be like, oh, good, somebody I know. And I will leech onto you. Okay. And I will follow you around all day if I'm by myself at a conference, because I just am very uncomfortable in large groups of people. I have a lot of social anxiety, which is hilarious, because if you see me online, you would not think that at all. And I always get that. They're like, wow, you're really actually shy and quiet in person. And I'm like, yes, guys, I am shaking in my boots right now. I have pit sweats. I'm usually in black because I am afraid of the sweat marks coming down my arm. It is not a fun time to be in my body in a social environment. So when it came to being online social, I was like, this is fantastic. This is my space. COVID times, I was like, yes, I can talk from my couch all day long. This is just amazing. But does that mean that I stop going to the conferences? No, I push myself outside of my comfort zone. Does that mean that I stop speaking on stages in front of hundreds of people? Absolutely not. I have to do that because I have to practice what I'm not good at. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that we get through to people is you're not good at it right now. But 2 years from now, you're going to look back at a video and you're going to laugh and you're going to look and be like, wow, how far I came and how far my business came because I finally decided to have a voice and I finally decided to take up space and look at what it's done for me.
Yeah. When we finally decide to take up space and finally decide to use our voice, what's our next big hurdle that we should be thinking about when we're marketing our business? I find it's really, really hard, not just for the social media presence to get on there, but for me, particularly in my business, to understand kind of what comes first. I have these services and I have things that are put together. And so if I'm then saying, okay, I understand the aspect of I need to get out there and I need to do the thing, what other considerations should we be working through?
Yeah. So number one, it's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one consideration, is that if I focus all my content on me, it's only going to go so far, right? But if I turn my content around and I'm making it about you, what you want to see, what you need to hear in order to make a purchase decision without it sounding like, the car salesman. How do I take my community and make it about them? So easy, simple ways to do that. Talk about the problem that you are solving. And it doesn't mean leading with the negative. Are you so overwhelmed with your business right now? We're not going to do that. But it's more so I took my client from feeling XYZ to this in a 6-month period. And this is the steps in which we did that. I'm also a big believer of not gatekeeping. So I will spell it out for you. You want a strategy? I'm going to give it to you. Now, whether or not you can actually execute that strategy, that's on you. And then you may come to me for help with it, right? But I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not I have all the secrets and you need to buy my program to find the secrets. You can find that information very easily in any of my Instagram captions. So the other thing I always recommend is just being authentically yourself. So if you're going to sell something, sell it in a way that feels good for you. Everybody knows when somebody is going to come online and sell them something. The voice changes, the tone, the appearance almost. I know when an influencer is about to promote a product, before they even open their mouths, because there's just an air that's different. So trying to find a way that's authentic to yourself and how you speak to your community is really important. But the number one thing is that they need to feel seen, they need to feel heard, and they need to be getting some kind of value out of it. Mm-hmm. So people are always what kind of post? So I talk about usually something I call the PVC method. So PVC, not the pipe. Yes, I'm a contractor's daughter, so it's kind of funny, but it's promote it, like promotion posts, value posts, connection posts. Okay. So if you're ever like, what do I post today? You have 3 options: something that promotes something that's of value, or something to connect with your audience. The connection piece is interesting because that means we may sometimes have to get vulnerable. Maybe I need to share my own journey of entrepreneurship and how I saw, people tearing down women entrepreneurs and not giving them the time of day. And this is why I'm here to like lift you up and give you that story to connect with you. So you feel an emotion, right? We want an emotional tie there. And then something of value. Maybe I'm just going to drop you a freebie. Hey, steal my strategy for this and go do it and let me know what you think, right? And then a promotion is obviously going to be self-serving. So when we are promoting, we need to make sure that it's not just promotion all the time, which means, everybody listening, you cannot just ghost your community and show up every 2 months when you want to sell them something. It will work occasionally, right? But it will get old. And so they're going to gravitate, if we're talking specifically to social media, they're going to gravitate towards other accounts that are actually feeding them exactly what they need and want and crave, right? So, which is the value and the connection piece. So you'll see that your promotional content will actually perform the lowest. It's like, think about a commercial, right? Like if I don't want Kellogg's Rice Krispie cereals, I'm going to walk away from my TV or fast forward. And maybe I'm dating myself because I don't know if there's even commercials. I don't have cable, but it's like, if I'm not interested in that thing, I'm going to move past it. But if I am interested, I'm going to sit and I'm going to engage with the content. I'm going to maybe go to the website, do all the things. So your promotional content's never going to perform peak unless you're like throwing ads at it. So how do we make that community, keep that community and engage them? If you are looking at your, let's say, Instagram page, and you're looking at the number and you are literally using the word followers, then you are not serving your community. I never, ever, ever call that number followers. I have completely transformed that language. It is a community. So when I am posting something, I'm not thinking, oh, I need to grow my follower count. I'm thinking, how can I serve my community so that my community can share it with their community? So then they have like-minded people in their community, right? A lot of my friends are entrepreneurs. Some of my friends are not entrepreneurs, but we have like interests. So they'll share my content with theirs because it makes sense. And then I start to build my community. But I'm never thinking of it like, oh, I need to like make a post go viral. I could care less about the numbers. I'm looking at the metrics differently. What kind of craveable, bingeable content am I making? I'm going to make more of that because clearly my community wants that and they crave it and they need it. And it's fueling them to do more in their businesses.
Yeah. One of the other things that I realized, you and I have completely different, we're going to call them followers for this part of the conversation, right? You have 2 accounts. One is that Toronto mom, which pops off, and that is all things. We're talking kids, we're talking being a mom. Listen, if you don't like listening to, us talk about puke, you don't have to go over and tell her. But I do recommend, once they get past the sickness, come on now. And then you have grind social media. And one of the things that I love that you set aside that word follower because it is so true. And we often assume that because influencers have large amounts of people, that they are also making large amounts of money. Here to tell you that can be true. However, sometimes, most times, it is not. And the reason for that is because they have to, in their community of 10 point whatever followers, right? They're giving you a promotional code and they have to deliver by volume. Like the amount of people that have to take your code. But what I found is I have like 600 and some people in my community and I'm like, yes. And they're all engaging. And that's the way, for me being a service-based business, that's the way that it's turning over. And I don't have to focus on throwing a code out to 10,000 people. And listen, if you're an influencer, go off. That is your thing. That is your jam. But I think we get so hung up on the number of like, I need to be able to have 10,000 followers to be able to get revenue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. I didn't even have a business Instagram and I was making money, right? Money. But I think we get really, really good of getting in our head and thinking that that's the number that we need to attribute to because that's the number that we're going to get sponsorships. We're going to get, everybody wants to be an influencer nowadays. Everybody.
Yeah. So I don't work with influencers like from a service-based level. However, I have worked with influencer campaigns and obviously like I'm a micro Toronto mom influencer, but I actually work with a lot of small businesses and I don't charge them. That Toronto Mom is a community. It's there because I accidentally became part of this world. Okay. And I think people think like, oh, she's an influencer, so she created a digital like marketing company. And it's like, no, guys, I built $1 million company in my 20s and I have I have 20 years experience in business. This isn't like, that's not what it is. So I like to make that clear if people question that, because anybody can just say that they're like a digital marketing expert and that's not the case. So the thing with that Toronto Mom is that, that platform really became a place of where I was going through motherhood without a mother, without that village that they told you that, my family's very busy. I don't have a typical family environment, and that's no shade on them. They're busy living their lives. Like I didn't have kids so that my dad and my stepmom could raise them, but like my parents are young. They have a teenager. Like they're not able to just step in when I had kids. So I built this account because I was like, let's share the shit show of motherhood. Let's actually talk about the things that are make me go crazy. And people message and I talk about grief there and like what it's like to experience really hard times. I'm very open there. And when I started this company, I could have easily just promoted my business like on that Toronto Mom. And you won't see me. Sometimes I'll drop some podcast episodes there because I actually think my community could use that messaging. But I created the new account. It was like, anybody who is a business owner over here, come onto this page. If you're interested, this is what I do for like my actual career. And I separated the two for a very, very specific reason. If you think that turning your personal account into a business account is going to serve you, it probably will not. Only 10% of my followers on that Toronto Mom, like those people, that number, are actual business owners or in a career where they want to learn more about marketing, whatever. So they came over to Grind Social. Now I feel more comfortable talking about my business because you're here for business content. You're not here for mom content. Think about what that would have done to the engagement and all those metrics that, like, if you do book big brands, which I have worked with large brands in the past, it would have messed that up for me. And I would have to go back and speak to them and be like, oh, sorry, like, I guess this community doesn't like that thing that I promised you they liked, right? So it is important to separate sometimes your personal from your business, unless your personal is your business, right? So if you are an influencer selling other things, that is one category online, on social, like selling, I guess. If you are a business, you are not promoting other people. You are promoting your own brand and your own services. It's a very different demographic. It's a very different way of promoting yourself. And so business owners will come to me and be like, well, I did this thing and I did what everybody said and it's just not taking off. And I'm like, great, you're entertaining the masses. And let's say you got 1,000 followers because something went viral, but are those people there to be entertained, or are they there to actually want to purchase your service and your product? Because there's a difference. So what is your tie to that number? So when people are like, I want to grow to 10,000, I'm like, that's a great number. Why 10,000? Well, because then that'll show that I have XYZ in this industry. I have a leg to stand on. And I'm like, not necessarily. I know people with 100,000 followers that message me and being like, how the hell do I make money now? And I'm like, right? And then I have clients who have under 1,000 followers that sell out every time. And literally, like, I think one of my clients, when we first started, it was like 600 followers. We had a high ticket launch. She sold out. It was a 5-figure launch. It was great. Guess why? Because of those 600 people, like 50% of them were like, yes, ready to go, because she served them exactly what they were looking for, right? And we worked on a strategy that was going to help them kind of get used to that price point over time so that when it came up, it wasn't like a big shocker. So when we're looking at community and we're looking at speaking to our audience, stop thinking about how many people, because, I have been standing on a stage in front of over 500 people. I used to have a job and I did presentations at the science, like the Ontario Science Center. Don't ask. I'm not going to divulge what that was. It was really fun. It was with kids, whatever. And I think it was like my third week on the job, and they're like, the girl that does the presentations at the Science Center is really sick. We need you to fill in. And I was like, okay. I'm thinking how many kids are going to be there and parents. Dude, I don't know if you've ever been there, but probably not because you're in the States, but it's like a huge auditorium. It's still there. But anyways, so it's a huge auditorium. And literally it was filled with like over 500 people. And I'm like, wow. Oh my, and think about it. Remember, I'm the person with like social anxiety. I'm like, and I had to perform. Let me tell you that when you're like, I need more people, 500 people in person is a lot of people. Like, it's a lot. It is a lot of energy to deal with. So just like, don't think you need more. What you need to work on is what more can I give my current community so they can share and we grow organically in a way that feels good. Because once you get to know those people, like, and actually be social on social media, they tell you everything you need. Like everything you need is right there for you. You just keep searching for all the new and the latest and the trendy and the whatever. And that doesn't always work, right? And so why do we keep looking for the shiny brand new stuff? Like just start going within your own brand, your own community, your own story, and start sharing from that place. I guarantee you that you'll get way more out of that than the latest gimmick to like get 10,000 followers.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when you were saying that, of you don't need another course. You don't need another class. What you need is confidence to do baby step number one. Mm-hmm. Which for most of us, when we're chasing those courses and we're chasing those classes and the 10 times and the email, that's what we're after. We just want the quick fix. We want the, how can I get more with doing less? And society is really, really good at telling us that we can get it less as long as we're not sleeping at night. Yeah. We're just doing it over and over. And one of the things that I talked about in the community that we are a part of is the whole idea and concept of project management when you are working in your business. And even if you are a solopreneur, and really unpacking holding yourself accountable. Because if you're saying, I'm going to post 3 times or I'm going to reach out to 5 leads, and then you get to Friday and you haven't done any of that, and you're just, because you're an entrepreneur, moving it to the next week because I can do that and I'm in my business, what are you actually leaving on the table? Mm-hmm. You're not talking to your 10K audience, and you're certainly not talking to your 600 people that you have. So, but what we're not going to do is go get another course to figure it out. I'm sorry, but that is not, it's 2024. Can we just not? Because if you're not going to be consistent posting, you're not going to show up at the course and do the stuff that they're asking to do. Right. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to be harsh, but that's just the reality that we live in, quite frankly. And then we end up at Amanda's door and we're like, help, please. And the first thing she's going to tell you is, honey, we're going to work on confidence.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any.
It's all about the action piece. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and she was telling me about this great idea about like an event and the stuff. And I was like, and she's looking at me funny. And I'm like, yeah, I have something coming up. Like it's on its way. Like in the fall, we're launching this event. And she was like, damn it, that was my idea. And then the other person that we were with was like, yeah, the only difference is that she fucking acted on it. And I was like, you can be a part of the event. Like, we're going to include you. It's fine. Like, we were going to ask you anyways. So, but it is about that thing about action, right? Because what happens is you have this great idea, then you see somebody else executing it and you're like, I can't do that. But I did encourage her. I'm like, make your own. I'll support you. Of course. Like, It's an idea is an idea. It's never going to be executed the same way. You are who you are. The way I deliver something is different than the way Callie delivers something, is different than the way the next person delivers something. The idea is, though, you have to put into action exactly what you want out. Like, tell the people what you want, ask them what they need, and then create the thing. But if we keep sitting and doing courses and writing in our pile of like 70 journals, okay, there's only so far a freaking affirmation prompt is going to take you in life. Like, I'm sorry. And like, I say it how it is. I'm not for everybody. I'm sorry if you're turned off by this part, but
no, we all love it.
Yeah, I have non-negotiable time set in my calendar. Unless the building is on fire, nothing is interfering with that time block. And it is set for the year, guys. So if you haven't done this yet, do this. And it's a 3-hour block, okay, once a week. And then I take Fridays off. On those Fridays, I either work on something in the business or I work on myself, meaning I take the day off, I go for a walk, I have a coffee with my husband, whatever I want to do that day. But there's another day where there is a time block. And that time block is for reviewing analytics, insights, looking at DMs, looking at past discovery call notes, and creating content for my community based on what it is that they've been telling me. And then I just record, or I find old B-roll footage in my phone from my travels over the summer and I create great hooks. And it doesn't take very long. And our family just got hit with like the fucking trifecta of life this month. We had a death, a funeral, an illness. We all got the stomach virus. Like, if I hadn't have used those 2 weeks before and that 6 hours of time that I had blocked out, I would have been absolutely screwed this month. Like, nothing would have been done. So it's also preparing yourself for like the lifing moments that will come up as well. So you don't feel so stressed out and you're like, well, I actually did that already, so I'm good. But you are the owner. You are the visionary. You have to lead it. Nobody is going to wake you up and say, okay, Amanda, today you have to do X, Y, and Z, and you better get it done, because if you don't, then this person doesn't get paid and that client doesn't get their stuff and you're not going to be able to go live in Europe in the summer. I wake up every day and I'm like, I'm going to tackle this head on, no matter what, unless life lifes, right? And if life lifes, there's always a backup plan. And I'm going to get the shit done because I have goals in life. And so a lot of people, they wake up and they're like, okay, I'm going to create this piece of content, but they don't understand what the goal of that content is. So then it goes nowhere. They get frustrated and they're like, I'll do this next week. So create some intention behind what you're creating and how you want to market your business. Like, it's hard to sit here and be like, I'll give you the strategy for it all. But what I will say is this: know what your brand story is, know what your customers need, figure out a way to position to them that makes sense. So if you're a softer brand, if you're a wellness brand, are you a hardcore coach? Are you in the fitness world? Like, it really depends, right? And then sit down and craft it all and then deliver it across different mediums. Social media is not the only thing that we do, because that is not the only thing that is going to get you leads. Social media is top of funnel. If your website is garbage, if you don't have a proper funnel, Callie knows all this is what she does, then when I bring people to your page and they go click the thing and the thing leads them nowhere, you can't blame your social media, right? Like, that's the top of the funnel. So we have to look at it as a whole. So a lot of people, what they do wrong is that they're like, I'm going to put everything into all the content I create, but their back end is a bloody mess. And so then the customer journey has like holes in it. And then you can't retain the damn customer. So we also have to be like, what's important right now? I took a huge pause in social on my own account because I was like, I have a lot of things I want to do and the back end needs to support that. And I need a bigger team. And I took a good like 6 to 9 months to do that. And I literally, like, I have a post about it, like what I learned not being on social media as a digital marketing agency, which could have burned me, but it didn't. And for like 9 months and what I did. And now doing social just feels so much easier and better because I took care of my back end. It was great.
Preach it. I mean, if that's not a testimonial into operations management, I don't know what is.
Yeah. You have to, though.
Yeah.
We see it fall apart very simply, and it is because the funnel is broken. And I know, like, we all talk about funnels and go find that 10K expert in funnels and all that stuff, but like it could be very simple, really. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated, but I need to know where we're sending people. Like, what is the thing you're selling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
You can do a funnel really easy and not pay a funnel management person. Yeah. And the reality of the situation goes right back to what Amanda was saying of you just need to know what the hell you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
If it's yourself, then what about yourself? And one of the things that I will just add to this notion of us getting an idea, we see somebody else doing it and we're like, put the kibosh on that. I can't do that because she's already doing the thing.
Yeah.
And you said it beautifully of, but they're not going to do it like you. Listen, there is nothing new under the sun.
No.
Not a damn thing is new. No. The next quote that you see, the next book that you're going to read, the next. Those are ideas that people have, yes. But they often are informed by everything else that they're consuming. Right? So when we talk about marketing, it's like, yes, utilize your unique message, but your unique message is also quality that is informed from other things that you have learned. I met one person in our community that was like, I don't feel like I can be a coach in this area because I have taken a certification from this person, and that means that it's their information. And I said, where did they get that information from that they're giving to you? Right? Yeah. They're not a doctor. They're not the textbook that we learned in school. They're getting that information from other sources too. Mm-hmm. So don't feel bad when you're showing up and you're chatting slightly differently, but sort of sometimes the same information, because the person that's in your audience may not be in their audience and vice versa.
Yep.
It's simple math. Girl math. We can girl math the hell out of marketing.
We can girl math it all day. So one other thing, I am gonna do an episode just on this topic. So
I love this.
And no, like I'm gonna tell you what the topic is because you're gonna. I don't know if your community is gonna like this word, but it's okay. So my video, I will get there. I am a long-winded storyteller. So my video editor Callie sent me a reel yesterday, and I was crying, laughing. And I was like, this is the perfect topic for a podcast episode. And it goes in line with everything that we're talking about here. And it was literally a girl, and she's like in the marketing space, but like in a completely different way. But she does like a stitch with this company. This company sells jizz jewelry.
I'm sorry.
Yes, jizz jewelry. So, the body
if
fluids.
You see our faces right now.
Yeah. Okay, so like body fluids made into jewelry. And this girl is so passionate about her business. Legal? I don't know. Listen. Well, I do, like, you can put like
this one thing, right?
I don't know. Anyways, it's fine. But she is passionate about it, and she talks about it, and she posts about it all the time. TikToks, Instagram, you name it. And this girl is making a killing, guys, off of jizz jewelry. And her name is Amanda. And I died because I'm like, literally, we're going to have a podcast episode about how Amanda sells jizz jewelry. Not me, but this other chick named Amanda. And this person is talking about it. And I agreed 100% with what she says, which is if Amanda can sell jizz jewelry on the internet, you can talk about your bloody product or service at length. You should have the confidence of the chick who is literally selling that kind of jewelry. It frustrates me when people are like, I just can't talk about my business online. And I'm like, there are people selling things that shouldn't be selling them, that I do not believe that they actually have the expertise, or it's not a great product, or I've used the damn thing and I'm like, this is garbage and I won't promote it. But like, there are people out there that have the audacity to just do the damn thing, and you're sitting there on gold and you're not willing to put it out into the world. And it sucks because it's like, this could be so good if you just looked within and like, what's the word? Eat the frog, whatever. I like to use it like jump off the cliff and build the parachute as you fall, like just do it and see what happens, and like just fix and tweak it as you go along. But if we don't just act and we don't just say the damn thing we need to say, then you can't expect to have the revenue that you have put as a goal for yourself. And that's in everything. That's not just showing up on social. That's sending the emails. That's going to the conferences. That's doing the networking. That's talking to the girl at the supermarket and handing her a coupon for your product, whatever it is that you have to do to get your shit known, you got to do that. That's the world of entrepreneurship until it is so good that everybody else is talking about it for you. Then that's where it gets a little easy, but it also gets complicated because more money, more problems. But you do have to speak about it yourself with as much passion and conviction, because if you don't believe in what you're selling, how the hell are other people going to?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, it comes down to find your voice, use it, be confident in it. And if you have to fake it a little until you really feel it, go for that. But I truly believe that everybody can promote themselves in a way that feels good, that doesn't feel too masculine or too feminine. I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle of that. And that you go to bed every night being like, I did the best that I could today. And let's see what comes out of it tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll do a little more or I'll do a little less, but at least I gave it my all. It sucks when I see people really stuck and taking all the courses and not doing anything. And it's like, man, if you just put that energy and that effort and that money and that time into the action part, we could actually see something happening.
Yeah. We don't want to endure the suck.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just gonna suck.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But hey, moral of the story is we just need to be out here selling Jill's jewelry as confident as Amanda. Yeah. And not this Amanda, but the other Amanda, although this Amanda is confident in what she's selling you. Amanda, where can we find you? Where can we connect with you? I'm going to have all your links, but do you have, what fun things do you have going
on the go? Well, you can find me on Instagram. So for business stuff at Grind Social Media, and then for the shit show of motherhood and travel at That Toronto Mom. Yeah, I have some fun stuff coming up in the pipeline. I cannot tell you about it yet, but it will be dropping soon, depending on when this episode airs. But yeah, just follow me over there. And also, I am just a DM away. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I send DMs, nobody gets back to me. My team does not run my account. It is 100% me. And I always love to hear what you guys are working on. And if you need help with something, please just reach out.
Yeah, she is a fantastic resource. And I also love her podcast, Marketing Sucks. Yes, That is the title, and it's amazing. They're short episodes, so if you're into that, it's perfect. But that's where she chats all things deeper into what we went into today. So look for that and definitely follow her. But Amanda, thank you so much for spending time with me today and helping us out.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for tuning into the show today. If you heard something that helped you, I would love it if you would leave a review and share it with your friends. This helps more people just like you become inspired to move the needle of their big CEO energy into a positive direction. If you would like to learn more about how I can help you streamline and position your business for growth or lead your business as a CEO, feel free to jump into the show notes with all of the links to find me. And don't forget to head over to Instagram so we can be pals.